Somebody has mentioned they don't want to. somebody has mentioned. somebody has mentioned. somebody. somebody has mentioned they don't want to repeat the lessons in life. So, what first question become? What are the lessons? You see, if you look at my YouTube channel. If you look at my YouTube channel, you realize in the introduction, not only I have written, but on my YouTube channel, on the introduction, I am on the YouTube channel. In the introduction, I'm saying life basically is all about learning numerous lessons. Through learning, we shed our karma. Why is it necessary to shed karma? Karma is generating this entire three-dimensional reality, which is a very narrow band. When somebody says, which is a very narrow band, when somebody says, I don't want to repeat the lessons, basically, who is the one who is saying that? Is the individual or the separate self? What makes you separate is your name and the belief on these attachments that they indicate any type of truth. But as a matter of fact, they don't. You have a different name, you have a different skin color, you have a different family background, you are told you are human race, you are told you are a male or you are a female or you are a transgender or whatever. All these things are identification. Then after a certain period of time, you start believing you belong to a certain society, you belong to a certain country, and now in that country, this is your demographic status, and so on and so forth. You see, all this is happening because these abstract this abstract reality, you are putting your faith that it is real. It is only real when you are functioning among other humans. If you understand what I'm saying to you, it is only real when you are functioning among other humans. But when you are by yourself, you must have the distinction. Otherwise, you would just keep repeating the lessons you don't want to repeat. It's not on you to decide whether you want to repeat the lessons or not. When you are saying, I don't want to repeat the lessons, it's all that individual, all that separate self, which makes you a separate self. I just mentioned all these abstract realities. And after a certain period of time, you start thinking, this is me, but this is not me. So, through the perspective, please understand this. um, through the perspective of separate self, through the perspective of individual, through the perspective of individualism, through the perspective of separate self. While what makes you separate self, I just mentioned all these abstract realities. When you start believing this is you, there is separate self, there is the individual. But through the perspective of ultimate reality, through the perspective of Sakshi, through the perspective of Chit or self-awareness, through the perspective of cosmos or limitless, through the perspective of omniscient and omnipresent, through the perspective of Brahman, there is just Brahman. You understand that? That Brahman, you are the you carry all the tendencies of Brahman, but then you have a brain, and then you have a mind, so you can evolve consciously. We talked about that the day before yesterday. This is the part But when you start believing that what makes you individual is you, then you become a separate self, basically. You form, you form, you form a separate identification, and the identification you form does not exist in nature, does not exist in reality. The identification you form does not exist anywhere but in your mind. This is abstract reality. If a person, if a person of extreme power and connection, if a person, if a person, I'm trying to make you understand through an example, hypothetically speaking. If a person of extreme power and authority is facing a tiger and a lion, hypothetically, do you think lion or tiger knows this person has a lot of connections? Do you think tiger or lion knows that this person has extreme authority or some type of authority? You see that authority, those connections basically are only be comprehended by that person and those around him, the same humans. They create abstract reality. When a lion or a tiger looks at a person like that, all the lion or tiger sees is food. It has no remorse or any type of feeling of overwhelm, basically, that this person has extreme authority and this person is very powerful. This person has connections. Do you understand why I gave you the example that Brahman creates the experience, the three-dimensional reality, and even beyond this three-dimensional reality? And the abstract mind of humanity creates an abstract reality. We live in that abstract reality, but we don't have to, if you understand. So, this is all separate self, and separate self is living in an illusion that I am existing in nature. If you were existing in nature, all the species, all the creatures, all the animals around you would understand what you are creating in your mind. But they have no idea of it. If you know, it's since you have a brain and you wear your mind of all humanity around you, you now can use your memory to fabricate your imagination. But this is the part where we say this form or this being is evolving consciously. But as a matter of fact, it does not. You can create certain situations, but those certain situations are not comprehended or accepted by anything other than human can only comprehend so they can function, but they put so much emphasis and so much focus on function. They become fascinated of the three-dimensional reality, which is a really narrow band, and they think it is real. But life, it is not the limitation of life, it is the limitation of your perception. Life goes beyond that. Three-dimensional experience is just a narrow band. When you say, I don't want to repeat the lessons, you see, when you say, I don't want to repeat the lessons, you are not only, when you say, I don't want to repeat the lessons, you are not only fascinated by the three-dimensional experience, but you are living in this narrow band, this three-dimensional experience, basically, and you are identifying yourself through the experience. So you say, I don't want to repeat the lessons. But individual or separate self has never had a say because it does not exist anywhere but in the human mind. So it is nothing. It does not even hold a candle. It is nothing. It does not even hold a it does not even hold a candle in front of the light of Brahman, in front of the light of awareness, in front of the light of pure consciousness. You understand? So the identifications or the identification or the sense of separation basically has no say in the scheme of cosmos, in the scheme of the principle, the fundamental and basic principle which is laying underneath everything that you experience or you have experienced or you would experience. So separate self does not hold the candle. You see, you can be very angry, or you can be resentful, or you can curse, or you can use your mind. We have less time today because of the private meditation session, but we are going to look into it. It's significant, it's important that I give you the clarity. Separate self, you see, you can use your mind, you can be angry, you can be resentful, but in the end, all these things you are going to hurt yourself in the end because you have no say, you have no control, you have no authority. You see, as I mentioned in the style of this video, that from the perspective as I mentioned in the style of this video, that through the perspective of Brahman, there is just Brahman. There is just ultimate, there is just limitless. And that limitless is trying to know itself beyond the boundaries of time and beyond the boundaries of dimension. Why it is necessary now to learn the lessons. Through learning the lessons, you are sharing karma. If you are saying, I don't want to repeat the lesson, it has no meanings. You are not the one to decide. You, the separate self I'm talking to. You, the individual I'm talking to. But if you are looking through our perspective now, through the perspective of Brahman, we don't see you existing. We only see us changing forms and evolving till we get back to our fundamental state. This human accumulation, this experience is the if this human accumulation and this experience is the result of the cause. Someone caused something, hence the creation started. The day before yesterday, I mentioned that. Someone caused something, hence the creation started. Now, since the creation has started, we are experiencing this three-dimensional reality and we are carrying this accumulation. And it means that this is the effect. So till we transcend the effect, we cannot get back to our fundamental state, which is nothing but nirvana or kingdom of heaven. I hope you are understanding what I'm saying. You see, somebody, as I said, someone, somewhere, somebody, somewhere basically caused. In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing is what? Nothing is not nothing. Through the perspective of mind, between this phone and myself, there is nothing. You see, nothing is something which has no objectivity. Nothing basically is something which has no form, which has no boundary through the perspective of mind. Nothing is something that which has no form, which has no boundary, which has no physicality attached to it, which cannot be seen through the naked eye, which cannot be smelled or which cannot be felt. This is all nothing. So if I look at this screen through which I'm delivering the words of truth and wisdom and my body, I would say there is nothing in between. But this nothing is not nothing. You understand? This my watch my words. This nothing is not nothing. In this nothing is self-aware, basically. I'm talking about the fundamental state of awareness or consciousness. This nothing is self-aware. And when in this nothing it it interacts, means when it causes, then it sees its effect. So we our fundamental state is that nothing, but anything and everything comes out of this nothing. And how does that happen? Because universe is full of cause and its effect. That what you basic and fundamental um, ex- definition, I wouldn't say explanation, basic and fundamental, basic and fundamental definition of karma, cause and its effect. This entire cosmos, this entire universe is filled with cause and effect. You see creation, you see objects around you, you perceive your own thoughts, you see beings around you. This is all the effect of the cause. You see, that's what we say when this sense interacts with itself. There is just that sense, there is no other, if you understand. When this sense interacts with itself, means when it causes, the entire creation come manifest. The entire creation come into manifestation. That's how the basic karma works. Once this is karma, once you transcend it, then there is no problem. You become the part of your fundamental state. You become the part of your fundamental state, and now you don't have to repeat the lessons. Till then, it's not on you. When I'm saying you now, I'm talking to when I'm saying you now, I am talking to separate self. I'm talking to individual, basically. The individual which is saying, I don't want to repeat the lessons. It's not, as it is a matter of your own choice. The individual self is saying, I don't want to repeat the lessons, as it is the matter of your own choice. You have no say in it. You yourself are giving birth, basically, to this experience. It's just that you don't have the awareness of that yet. But I can see that way. You yourself is given birth. You yourself is given birth, basically, to this experience, because on the very fundamental and very profound level, you are the one who is causing it, and you are seeing the effect. When you are seeing the effect, you don't like the effect. Effect would now remain there till you transcend the karma. Once you transcend the karma, the experience would dissolve. Once you transcend the karma, this once you transcend the karma, this three-dimensional experience, the objects, the beings around you, the thoughts you are perceiving, the whole psychology, the whole human mind, everything would dissolve, you see. And because you have transcended all the karma which was creating the experience, now you have no more lessons to learn. You see, since you do not have no more lessons to learn, you become the part of the light, which is the first manifestation of self-awareness or pure consciousness, or Sakshi, the silent witness. Shh. Sakshi, the silent witness. You see, you become the part of it. Now it becomes an option for you. Now it becomes an option for you, that whether you want to come back for the compassion, Now it becomes an option for you whether you want to come back for the compassion towards the humanity. Because sadly and unfortunately, and I have mentioned that before, the dharma of this humanity is very low. The dharma of this humanity, in other words, what I'm saying for you to understand, in easy words, what I'm saying for you to understand, the moral of entire humanity, this you have made, the humans have made this planet very sick. We all have made this planet very sick, you see, because how we think, because we never bother to understand ourselves, because we never bother to know beyond a certain barrier, beyond a certain boundary, and then we blame others. All this creates negativity. When it creates negativity, obviously the entire karma of this planet Earth, which was supposed to be our mother, but we have made it very sick. It's a very sad situation. So the dharma of humanity basically goes down, you see. The dharma of humanity goes down. So, as I said, out of compassion, after you have learned all the lessons, even after repeating, after when you have learned all your necessary lessons, it's an option for you whether you want to come back out of compassion for the humanity so you can light a candle, you know where. So you can light a candle, you know where, you see. So this is very significant for you to understand. It's not your choice in the end. If you don't want to learn the lessons, if you don't want to repeat the lessons, then look at the experience and see what it is trying to teach me, what this Indian sage or yogi is telling me right now in this moment, what this meditator is telling me right now in this moment, what this person is saying. I'm saying, if you don't want to repeat the lessons, it is very possible to change your karma. Look beyond the barriers of three-dimensional reality. Make your focus piercing, you see. And how would you do that? Again, as I as I have been stressing in last numerous retreats, as I have been stressing in last numerous messages, that everything comes down to practical, that how serious you have become. If you don't want to repeat the lessons, then become serious to know yourself beyond the barriers of physicality, beyond the boundaries of physicality. If you don't want to learn the lessons, then expedite the process to transcend your karma, which is very possible by freeing your will, which is invested in lies, hatred, discrimination, distinction, and individualism. The same individualism, which is basically the same individualism which is making you say that I don't want to repeat my lessons. You see, it's not your choice. As I said, you can be very angry. You do not like the experience. You can blame everything and everyone in creation. And you can even blame God. You can call God names. You can abuse God, but it has no effect. It has no meaning. You see what I'm saying? Your thought, your psychological drama, your thought process is zero. It has no meanings. In the end, the only thing you can do if you don't want to repeat your lessons is to transcend the karma, the very karma which is giving birth, the very karma basically which is giving birth to this three-dimensional reality. You see, then and only then you can expedite the process to transcend the karma. You can lessen, I'm saying lessen, you can reduce. Okay, so you wouldn't confuse two similar words. You can reduce, basically reduce the amount of lessons. Literally, I'm not joking with you, because I have done it, and if I have done it, so can you, because real me and real you is exactly the same. There is no distinction here. Remember the Brahman. When we see through the perspective of Brahman, we realize that the real yes or real whoever are the same, because yes is just an accumulation. You are another accumulation, but the real is the Brahman. You see. So remember something. You can transcend your karma. You can even reduce the amount of lessons by changing the karma. by transcending the karma, by using your free will. You will have to go through with total transformation. You'll have to take your faith out, which is the most fundamental thing. you'll have to you'll have to take your faith out of the lies. You will have to take your faith out in the abstract from excuse me you will have to take your faith out from the abstract reality. You see, you will have to take your faith out from the reality which is being given birth by your mind. And then the same mind pulls you, the same mind compels you to believe in these lies. When you believe in these lies, you obviously make mistake. When you make mistake and you suffer, this mind laughs at you very hard. You see? So all this comes down to do practically. You can expedite the process and reduce your lessons by performing meditation, by performing karma yoga, which is basically by performing karma yoga, which is um, a kind action. You don't have to go around and hug everyone and kiss them and show your love or all that. You see what I'm saying? You can perform simple, kind actions towards the creation. You can be happy when humans are getting along. You actually can be happy when there is unity. This is all the part of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, or yoga, is the yoga of action. You see, where you perform certain actions and that brings your prana, your life energy high. So you can see clearly. Along with that, you do Kriya meditation. Along with that, you do meditation. You see, um, all these activities you perform, and then you see that your life has become tremendously happy and better. So, what is happening? Basically, you are just transforming your negative karma to positive karma. When you transform your negative karma to positive karma, then you then you naturally become very happy. You naturally become very compassionate. You naturally spread the love around. You become happy when people are getting along. You do not get thrilled on drama and distinction or discrimination or creating your individualism or creating your individual identity, because this is all demented. You see, you are happy when rest of the creation is getting along. You are happy when rest of the creation is living in unity and peace with each other, when humans are getting along with each other and also with the rest of the creation, just not the humans, but also with the rest of the creation, with the birds, with the animal, with the insects, with the air, with the trees, with the grass, with the river, with the water, you name it. The list goes on. You see. So this is what, ponder on what I told you. You see, since we have less time, you heard the bell. Shh. So ponder on what I have told you. Ponder on what I have mentioned to you. That in the end, it's not your choice if you are looking. In the end, it's not your choice if you are looking at it through the perspective of an separate self. Separate self is the abstract reality. Separate self is the mind which tells you you are separate. And after that, it makes, obviously you are going to make the mistakes if you keep believing all the time that you are separate from rest of the creation. And then when you make mistakes, it's going to laugh at you very hard. The same mind, you see. So free yourself from the mind, use it, make it your slave, make it your ally through the meditation, through the karma yoga. In this moment in time, I would just stress, do the kind deeds, do the kind actions, small deeds are kind deeds. Do the kind deeds, do the kind action to the rest of the creation. I mind you, I didn't say human. I am precisely saying towards the rest of the creation, even to the animals and to the insects. No matter any chance you get, do the kind deeds for the rest of the creation. Do the kind deed, spread the love around, and become happy when people are getting along with each other and with the rest of the creation. You see, that would bring your own dharma up. When you transform your negative karma to positive, it becomes your dharma up. Then you can see more clearly. And now you are understanding that you can reduce the lessons you see by taking certain actions. You can reduce the lessons by taking charge of your will. You can reduce these lessons that you were supposed to learn in incarnation between the knot of birth and death. You can reduce those lessons by freeing your will. You see, by freeing your will, then you have faith in the present moment. Then you have faith for no reason. Then you have focus in the present moment. Then you have focus for no reason. You see, after that, you can divert that kind of focus. After that, you can divert that kind of faith towards anything and everything you want. But in this moment in time, it's all about practical. These words that I have delivered today, the words of truth and wisdom, that these words basically are there to guide you. These words are there to help you. That how you can reduce the lessons you were supposed to learn in one lifetime. It takes time, it takes devotion, it takes time, it takes devotion, it takes very strong will. But if you are determined, remember these words. But if you are determined, nothing is impossible. Everything is possible for you. You see. Have you learned to sit yet? Are you performing meditation every day? Are you performing meditation in silence? Shh. If you are doing all that, that's the best thing you can do, along with the kind action towards other humans and towards the rest of the creation. You see, that's karma yoga, the yoga of action, the yoga of kind deed. All right, let's meditate sometime before I go to my private meditation session. Let's meditate for some time. Oh.